All right, I want to come back on one more time just to see if this would work. I've got a piece of software that lets me basically take three or four different connections and put them into one. I'm going to see if that works well. It may not. See if that's a more stable internet connection. I did pay for this by the month in hopes that I wouldn't have to buy a mesh router. What it does is it gives the computer three or four different options in case we were to lose bandwidth, and it would get it from somewhere else. So anyway, what you're looking at right now is a feet, and I have to say that it doesn't look like much technology wise, but this is huge. This is coming in via an HDMI cord that is plugged up to my computer across the room, a Mac. And I was doing that through something called NDI, but I wanted a switcher where I could basically take a bunch of inputs directly from the monitor and split them and still see the monitor. And I didn't know if that was going to work or not, but it's working. So this is no longer going through the internet. I'm seeing on my kilobits per second, I'm seeing the stream still kind of act a little weird, but I don't see any dropped frames just yet. But the big feature for talking about the weather is that Lynchburg right now is getting a lot of heavy rain and nothing severe at the moment. No special weather statements either, just a lot of rain, thunder, and lightning. And we're going to have some fog in the morning. You can bet that. You can see more lingering showers out behind this, and there's still stuff down in North Carolina that has to get through here as well. So that's a look at the new input off of the HDMI splitter that I've got. You may remember me talking about a 9-input HDMI I've got in the back, and I've got two other switchers. That one's used for television broadcasting, the other's used for streaming. That should allow me to really crank things up now that I know this works. So that was just more of an experiment. I was watching that rotation that came out of Pittsylvania County earlier. That has now dwindled. You could actually see right here a little spin. It was almost a broad area of rotation, but you could definitely go back and see right there, just east of Gretna, we had kind of a question mark. Literally, you had some mid-level rotation there, but Weather Service, I think, was smart in not putting out any kind of a warning with that. They had the special weather statement app. Now, not to be outdone, you're still getting hit hard in Botetourt County and in Blue Ridge, where we've got some very heavy rainfall moving north now, but redevelopment on the backside of that. So some folks are seeing some flooding. I did mention that I thought we would see that. I'm going to get to that race forecast for you real quick, too. So let's get rid of that real quick. This is a look at the Wakefield radar. We are streaming that live, and I want to make sure. I think the other issue was the Blacksburg radar has been having some issues since it was off a little bit earlier today, and so they're still fine-tuning that. So now we're looking at Wakefield, since I've got a lot of people that normally don't get covered because by the time the storms get to South Boston and Chase City and Brookneal, sometimes I'm already done with my part of it. But I am planning on doing this nationally at some point. So I need to get used to it. Raleigh-Durham getting some more heavy storms right now from Raleigh into Durham. A special weather statement up for Chapel Hill. And if you move north around Roxborough, we've got some rain. South Boston, I mentioned you really avoided the rain, but we do have this flood advisory that I mentioned that's up until 12:30. That is for Halifax or Pittsylvania County, where we've had quite a bit of rainfall just over the past several hours. But if you really look over the past, say, 12 hours or so, most of this occurred less time than that. But you're really looking at the haves and the have-nots. And you can see through most of the area, it's been hit or miss. Look at the dry area here. Wytheville, you were missed again. Rocky Mount down through Martinsville, still kind of dry. We didn't get much around Oak Level. We got some rain this morning, but you can see how once those storms clustered up, and this is what we get with summer-like storms, really. Chatham here, I'm showing close to 5 inches. 5.16, 5.5, showing up on the radar estimates south of Gretna, the Chatham, where all that rain was falling. And that's why the flood advisory is in effect. So watch for high water if you're going to be out late tonight or early in the morning. And you can see, too, even in Franklin County, a big diverse area here where west of Rocky Mount, there was hardly anything towards Wadesboro. And then you get out toward Westlake Corner, Union Hall, and let's see, it's estimating about 2.5 inches. How much did I get? I am showing hold on, I know I got something. I think I got about 1/4 of an inch earlier. Yeah, 0.58. So we got another 1/4 of an inch and then some with the second area that moves through. Okay, now let's get to your racing forecast. And I've got a bunch of forecast model here loaded for you. This is a look, and I think I've got that up where you can see it. We're going to zoom in to the Martinsville Speedway area. This is looking ahead towards Sunday. So that's going to be what, the 16th, right? So let's say you get to Martinsville early in the morning. This is off the wrap model. It's a fairly quiet forecast, maybe some pockets of some fog around. But here comes the front that'll be coming in from the west during the day. So at some point, you're going to want to be ready for some rain and or storms by the end of the race, I think, unfortunately. So we'll see. I actually gave Clay Campbell my contact information if he wants to hit me up for a forecast. I think they do their own. NASCAR has its own meteorology unit, but that's still pretty cool. All right, so this is the wrap, and this is valid at noon Sunday. As we go to 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, the race is starting, right? And let me get rid of this cold front, or this warm front here. It doesn't need to be on there. Okay. So we've got winds out of the south. I love how it just came back, just to spite me. We got winds out of the south, and it'll be warm. It'll be about, I'm calling for 84 down there, trackside, by 2 o'clock for the green flag. Hide. There we go. But we got the rain not too far away. This is a lower resolution model, but still a pretty good high-res model. The wrap also shows their clouds starting to move in by 3 o'clock, and then by 4 o'clock, I mentioned 4 is the time to watch. So let's go on in here a little bit closer into Martinsville, and at 4 o'clock on Sunday, you've got rain coming into Lover's Leap, and this will not be exact. It's an overall picture of what it's looking like. And by the time we get to 5 o'clock, it's already rained, and more rain could be on the way. So I feel like that's a thunderstorm that we have developed, at least on that model that it's looking at there. I think after 4 o'clock, you really tell the drivers to go a little faster. I know the paperclip is very, very fun to watch and very cool. Kind of want to go back sometime here. All right, so now we're looking off the, this is the last model I'll show you. This is the 3-kilometer NAM. And this is valid at 4 o'clock. So let's go back to 2. This is building. I can render this out, but I wanted to build it in real time so you can kind of see what's going on here. And we may be able to find the racetrack. I'm not sure. Hold on 1 second. I think I can do that. I mentioned I was kind of playing around with some stuff. Give me 1 second. Okay. Right. I'm just looking for a decent background here. I really want to see if I can pick this track out. May not be able to. We'll see though. Terrain. We'll do imagery. So we're in close. All right, we've got some imagery here. Is it going to show me anything? I turned the resolution down some, but I'm going to crank it back up and see what we get. If it makes a difference. I don't see anything. Oh, the track's in there somewhere. I think it's I don't know. We'll just look at Martinsville. I know there's a way for me to make this cleaner. I think it's because I have a cloud layer over it as well. But anyway, this is 2 o'clock race time. If you believe this model, the rain's starting to pop up around you, but not over you. But again, you can't take that for gospel. It's just an overall way of looking at things. Just popping, a few clouds, cumulus clouds, be my guess, up in the sky for much of the day. Then by 5 o'clock in the evening, things start to get going again on 58 and Stewart, neighboring Patrick County. So if you've got a radar app, look at Patrick County first and see what's coming up the road there, down the road, literally off of Lover's Leap. I think they had a rock slide on the Parkway not too long ago, or one of those roads. You can see by 6 o'clock, this model, the NAM, holds it off a little more, holds the rain off. So if you're a race fan, you're pulling for the NAM, because by 7, it may break up some, but it's still going to be in the area. This is 7 o'clock Sunday, 8 o'clock Sunday. Almost has 2 waves of rain coming through now. 9 o'clock, there's 10 o'clock, it's raining again. So if there are delays, there could probably be some time to maybe dry things up and get things going again. But the bottom line is, I don't think you're going to be able to avoid rain. I think you're going to have to enjoy what you can out there, get that sunblock on, enjoy that sunshine as you go into your Saturday morning and your trip down or whatever. Or I mean Sunday morning. There's stuff on Saturday too. I'm talking about the big race before the front comes in, because here comes the front later in the day. Now the good news is, again, the NAM's a little slower, whereas the wrap is much faster. And this is a low res version of the wrap. This doesn't go out far enough though. Let's see. This is the wrap at 4 p.m., 5 p.m. So the wrap's a few hours faster. Don't know if I can show the National Blenda models, but that would be cool if I could. Is it going to work? Oh my goodness, it works. That's cool. I didn't know I could do that. This only goes out 36 hours though, so that really doesn't do us much good. For kicks, I'll show the high-res GFS. It's not going to be nearly as pretty as the higher, the other models. But let's see if we can get our clouds on here and our future radar. And I have to do it backwards. Hold on one second. This layer has to be clouds. That makes no sense to me, but that's how it's programmed. It's okay. I don't want to say something and get Paul upset at me, because he's going to let me beta test some stuff. All right. Let's see. We want reflectivity. Okay. Low res. Looking at a global forecast model here. So we don't have a lot. 8 a.m., 11 a.m. Still no rain. Again, you're looking at Martinsville for the race. The clouds up at 2. That's probably just partly cloudy skies. Looking at it overall, you can see the front moving through Southwest Virginia by 5 p.m. The GFS also holds most of the rain off until maybe 8. So if the trends continue, maybe things will be slowing down a little bit more. Of course, after I've already recorded on my radios and stuff and told everybody one thing, we'll update them if we need to. But that's what that's looking like. The 3-kilometer NAM is in. And while that goes out a lot further, let's see. 16th, the day of the race. Let's look at. Also, who's going to win the race? Any ideas? It's been a while since I've really kept up with it. This is the lower res NAM that kind of has some rain hanging over us by the start of the race. So the lower res NAM wants to put it in here faster and bring it through faster, while the higher res NAM says, no, we've got time to get that race in. I think there will be at least one rain delay or a rain scare. Now, here's the thing. They'll be scattered. So, the racetrack's up in here, and these two actually verify, some of the showers could miss the area. It's always funny to me to watch the sports guys try to pull the radar up and talk about it. But yeah, this is slowing down. And I think this is the, not sure what run this is, if it tells me. But anyway, that works. So a few success stories, and the fact that I can show you this, I can't show you via camera, but the fact that I can show you this image here off of my Apple Mac, which is across the room and is hooked up to a long HDMI cable that's now going through another splitter and coming back out to the monitor so I can see it, and then coming into my computer so you can see it. Eventually what it'll come into is a 12 input switcher so I can switch things with transitions on the side. So anyway, that's all I'm going to do. I wanted to play around a little bit, just give you an update, let you know the storms overall are weakening. We'll have dense fog in the morning. High tomorrow about 80. We're looking at 84 Sunday, and I do think it'll storm by around 5 or 6 on Sunday. Wear the sunscreen and be careful.